And welcome back to this week's episode of the Broken Kid Podcast. I am more than excited. If you like cats, you might want to click off this video because we're going to be talking about some pretty nasty stuff that occurred to cats. And just go ahead and pop your collar the good old Kurt Russell way. If you don't know who that is, go ahead and look him up. But, we're about to get down into this. And this is not death proof. So we're going to be talking about death, unfortunately. So go ahead and click off if that offends you. And I mean that respectfully, because we're going to be talking about Netflix's most flawed, in my opinion, most flawed. And I don't even know how I'm going to get through this episode, because this documentary makes me so mad. If a little girl pees her pants, I am 10 of those, because it pisses me off. In fact, I'm going to take this off. No, I'm going to keep it for now. But anyhow, if you don't know what documentary I'm talking about Don't F With Cats, which is, to give you a little bit of a backstory, it's a documentary circulating around this individual who posts himself mutilating cats to the point of death. And he puts it on the internet. He ends up getting some traction because, unfortunately, in the documentary, it does show a portion or a few individuals of the internet sleuth group that was formed to capture this individual. Now, unfortunately, you kind of watch this, and if you don't hate internet sleuths already, you're going to hate them by the end of this, because it doesn't make them look good. It makes them look entitled. It makes them look like they think they know what they're doing, when in reality, they're a bunch of internet people who are just researching. Now, some people watch this documentary. I think it's almost like, it's got to be propaganda. It's got to. This documentary has. If you don't think it's one of the most flawed, it goes to show. I think it demonstrates delusion, and I don't know if this was something that was done on purpose, but to show you that this whole documentary is just so wrong about its take, and maybe it was done on purpose, but I doubt it. I don't think it was made this way to make a statement about how people think that they're righteous. People who think that because it kind of makes this narrative that the people who saved, they make it seem like the people who went on to get this guy caught, who goes on to become Luca Magnotta, because unfortunately he does go on to kill a few more cats in various ways, and then he goes on to kill an individual, a real human. And look, the whole title is called Don't F With Cats. How am I gonna say this? Look, it makes it seem like the reason that this guy was caught was because of the internet sleuths. But there's even a part in the documentary where they say, hey, no one was listening to us. We even tried to contact the police. Of course, the police, when you have... and this is kind of where I kind of backpedal. Yes, they did a good job at capturing a lot of information. It almost puts the police and these law enforcement departments to shame, because they were on it like this, and they did a great job at that. Now, my problem is that they were focusing so much on the cats' lives. Who else gives a fuck? No one gives a shit about these cats' lives. Look, I love cats as much as the next person. I've had a few cats in my life. I even had nature's cats, if you know what I mean. And I have 2 dogs right now. I love all animals pretty much indiscriminately, unless it's a rhino that's charging at me with the intent to kill me. But to think, look, this is kind of crazy, and this is the sad part and funny part of the movie. I got scared. My dog was moving, and I couldn't see him because he's black and blends in with my sheets. And look, it's crazy because throughout the whole movie, it gives a lot of attention to the people who were chasing this guy for what appeared to be for the lives of the cats, up until the point of the human. But my God, these people were fighting for the sake of the cat, like it mattered. And if at the end of the documentary you were to take these internet sleuths, these two who were shown on screen, and you say, hey, what was more traumatizing, the death of the individual human or the death of all the cats? They would say the cat lives mattered more. They would say it's a shame because all these cats must have been on their 9th life, because when they were tormented, they were not able to overcome it. So they obviously had their 10th life, which was their last life. Their 10th life is death. 10th life is the X, the X in the coffin, the cross in the coffin, and the nail in the coffin, I should say. And oh my goodness, the whole narrative is that these people, it's predicated on this notion that these people care so much about cats more than they care about anything else. And it's like, oh goodness, it's just a crazy documentary. And then there's a funny part where one of the FBI agents, I believe she's an FBI agent, kind of pretty much makes fun of him and calls him a pussy by saying that when the killer, when she saw him in face to face, that she could not believe that this was him because he looked too much tiny, pretty much too pussy to do all these things. And I was like, I don't know about you, but that clip in that documentary was really scary because she's kind of right. When you think about it, you're like, yeah, that tiny little boy who looks like a model, like a wannabe model, did all that. I'm getting scared right now. I mean, he's in jail, but you watch it, and they go on to say that he was inspired by movies. Oh my God. You know, that's where it gets really scary. The way she phrases it, she's like, yeah, this boy was tiny and all that stuff. I'm scared he's going to come in through the door right now and will kill me. But no, it was a scary documentary. It's one of the ones that actually does scare you. But no, my God, like, if these internet sleuths, you don't know if you want to be on their side or if you don't want to be on their side, but the way they handle everything is like they're the only ones that are right. They are kind of very close to the cops. The only difference is that these internet sleuths, I hate to say it, actually were getting evidence. They never give you any real side on the police on what they were doing. It's almost like they couldn't get access to any information or intel. I mean, Netflix, like the people who are producing the documentary, they couldn't get that much interviewership from police departments who were involved in this, you know, within the jurisdictions of the provinces that were affected, which is kind of horrible. And you kind of you kind of see why, because it's like, so you didn't care that cats were being killed, and it's like, it is brutal that cats are being killed, but why is nobody caring about them? Is kind of interesting too. And why do these internet sleuths who have like nothing better to do than to worry about cats being killed, why do they care, you know? But it's just kind of a dumb documentary, because obviously nobody cared about these cats as much as these people did, and nobody cared about it. People really think that, oh my God, to think that this guy is they tell themselves that the guy is in jail for killing cats, when in reality he's in jail because he killed a person. And that is probably the worst thing you could do. That you have to come to terms with if you're the internet sleuths. And it's not the first time that Netflix has covered internet sleuths, because there's that one show, the one episodes, the Lisa Lam story, the Elisa Lam, where these internet sleuths practically get a guy killed because they think they know what they're doing, but they really don't. So the moral of the story is, don't act like a cop. People don't like cops already, so don't act like one. Don't act like a detective. You're not Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes was a good detective. Don't be like Batman. He was a great detective. But in real life, detectives often come with a bit of scum to them, you know? And muck. They're not cool. These detectives, they think they know everything. Oh, well. But, you know, yeah, so if you go watch this documentary and you're going to be disappointed, but that's totally normal, you know? There's never been Netflix could make a documentary about my entire Monday and make it into a 4-part series that's an hour long each episode, you know? Yeah. But that being said, that's the end of this week's episode. I hope you guys have fun. Take care. If you want, go ahead and watch it. If you don't, I recommend you don't watch it, because it's only going to make you mad. But that being said, take care.